Come on guys, we all know the debris was big enough for both of them. There was no reason Jack had to go out like that. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 scary Titanic urban legends that will make you wear a life jacket, which you should be doing anyways on small vessels at the very least. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's dive in. Number 10, unsinkable. Contrary to popular mythology, Titanic was never described as unsinkable, without qualification, until after she sank. 3 trade publications, one of which was probably never published, described Titanic as practically unsinkable prior to her sinking. Many survivors recalled in video interviews as well as in testimony that they had considered the ship unsinkable. Shipbuilder Harland and Wolff did not claim she was unsinkable, but a promotional item from the White Star Line stressed the safety of Olympic and Titanic, claiming that as far as it is possible to do so, these two wonderful vessels are designed to be unsinkable. Number 9, David Sarnoff wasn't the first to hear about it. An often quoted story that has been blurred between fact and fiction states that the first person to receive news of the sinking was David Sarnoff, who would later lead media giant RCA. In modified versions of this legend, Sarnoff was not the first to hear the news, though Sarnoff willingly promoted this notion. But he and others did staff the Marconi wireless station atop the Wanamaker department store in New York City, and for 3 days relayed the news of the disaster and names of survivors to people waiting outside. However, even this version lacks support in contemporary accounts. No newspapers of the time, for example, mention Sarnoff. Given the absence of primary evidence, the story of Sarnoff should be properly regarded as a legend. Number 8, The Last Dance. One of the most famous stories regarding the Titanic is that of the ship's band. On the 15th of April, the 8-member band, led by Wallace Hartley, had assembled in the first-class lounge in an effort to keep passengers calm and upbeat. Later, they moved on to the forward half of the boat deck. The band continued playing even when it became apparent the ship was going to sink, and all members perished. There's been much speculation about what their last song was. A first-class Canadian passenger, Vera Dick, and several other passengers alleged that the final tune played was that of the hymn "Nearer My God to Thee." Hartley reportedly once said to a friend if he were on a sinking ship, "Nearer My God to Thee" would be one of the songs he would play. But Walter Lord's book, A Night to Remember, popularized wireless operator Harold Bride's 1912 account in the New York Times that he heard the song Autumn before the ship sank. Number 7, a passenger predicted his demise. Another oft-cited Titanic legend concerns perished first-class passenger William Thomas Stead. According to this folklore, Stead had, through precognitive insight, foreseen his own passing on the Titanic. This is apparently suggested in 2 fictional sinking stories which he had penned decades earlier. The first, How the Mail Steamer Went Down in Mid-Atlantic by a Survivor in 1886, tells of a mail steamer's collision with another ship, resulting in high loss of life due to lack of lifeboats. The second, From the Old World to the New in 1892, features a White Star Line vessel, Majestic, that rescues survivors of another ship that had collided with an iceberg. Number 6, another ship. Some believe that there was another ship, the Norwegian sealer Samson, in the vicinity of Titanic when she sank. Proponents of the theory argue either that the Samson was a third ship in the area at the night of the sinking, in addition to the Titanic and the Californian, or that the Californian was not near at all, and it was the Samson which Titanic passengers spotted in the distance while the ship was sinking. Advocates of Captain Lord's innocence have avidly adopted the latter theory, beginning with Leslie Harrison, the General Secretary of the Mercantile Marine Association in the 1960s. Number 5, The Curse. When the Titanic sank, claims were made that a curse existed on the ship. The press quickly linked the Titanic curse with the White Star Line practice of not christening their ships, linked directly into the sectarianism of the city of Belfast where the ship was built. It was suggested that the ship was given the number 390904, which when reflected resembles the letters No Pope, a sectarian slogan attacking Roman Catholics, used by extreme Protestants in Northern Ireland where the ship was built. Number 4, foreshadowing the disaster. At the time the Titanic sank, the 1st of May 1912 issue of the popular magazine, an American pulp magazine, was on the newsstands. It contained the short story The White Ghost of Disaster, which described the collision of an ocean liner with an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean, the sinking of the vessel, and the fate of the passengers. The story by Thornton Jenkins Haynes under the pseudonym Maine Clue Garnet created a minor sensation. Number 3. Heroic Dog. A large black Newfoundland dog named Regal purportedly was responsible for saving many survivors, according to stories published in at least one contemporary newspaper and retold many times thereafter, including in a book of contemporary accounts by Logan Marshall. Many details differ from known facts, and the story might be untrue, but it is kinda cute to think about a little doggy saving people. Number 2. Pack Ice. Captain L.M. Collins, a former member of the Ice Pilotage Service, based a conclusion on 3 pieces of evidence and going off his own experience of ice navigation and witness statements given at the 2 post-disaster inquiries, that what the Titanic hit was not an iceberg but low-lying pack ice. His book called The Sinking of the Titanic, The Mystery Solved in 2003 goes into further detail about the events. Number 1. It never sank? One of the most controversial and elaborate theories surrounding the sinking of the Titanic was advanced by Robin Gardner in his book Titanic, The Ship That Never Sank. Gardner draws on several events and coincidences that occurred in the months, days, and hours leading up to the sinking of the Titanic, and concludes that the ship that sank was in fact Titanic's sister ship, Olympic, disguised as Titanic, as an insurance scam by its owners. The International Mercantile Marine Group, controlled by American financier J.P. Morgan, that had acquired the White Star Line in 1902. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 scary Titanic urban legends that will make you wear a life jacket. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.